Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled 2004, the season that escaped control. Matt Leinart was supposed to be the quarterback at USC. Instead, in this alternate universe, USC doesn't exist. No Coliseum, no Trojan logo, no safety net. So when the 2004 season starts, Matt Leinart is standing on a practice field in Tucson, Arizona, trying to explain to reporters why the most hyped quarterback in the country is now wearing Wildcat red. And that's when you realize this isn't a chaos season. This is displacement season. Because when you remove the programs that normally absorb pressure, the pressure doesn't disappear, it moves. Here's what happened before kickoff. 8 programs were dissolved outright. Miami, USC, Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Virginia, Illinois, Indiana. Not sanctioned, not rebuilt, deleted. And the sport does something it's never done before. It redistributes their people. Every dissolved team contributes its head coach, its quarterback, its running back. 24 names, 24 new homes. Only rule, no team can receive more than one, which means nobody becomes a superpower, but everyone becomes dangerous. False stability. At first, college football pretends this is manageable. The preseason poll looks familiar on top. Oklahoma, LSU, Florida State, Texas. Because when the ground is shaken, you cling to the furniture you recognize. But underneath that, everything's very different. Pete Carroll's now at UCLA. Larry Coker is running Arizona State. Mike Leach goes to Washington State earlier than in real life. Frank Gore is carrying West Virginia, and Matt Leinart, he's at Arizona, a team that was completely irrelevant the year before. The sport tells itself, we'll sort it out by October. It doesn't realize October is where things break. The first signs. Week 1 doesn't just take off, it creaks. Arizona doesn't just win, they look organized. UCLA doesn't just score, they control games. Minnesota doesn't just upset Michigan, they run through them. You start seeing graphics on TV that feel wrong. Ranked teams with unfamiliar helmets. Sideline images of coaches who shouldn't be there, but look comfortable. And every broadcast hits the same nervous note. Is this real or just early season noise? The answer is uncomfortable because it's real, but it isn't loud yet. Then we get to where the sport panics. By midseason, something changes. Oklahoma's winning, but surviving. Florida's losing games it can't explain. The SEC East has no anchor. The Big 12 has no center of gravity. And suddenly every press conference sounds very defensive. Not about on-field play, but about legitimacy. That's when the commissioners meet, quietly, urgently, and they make a decision that changes the sport. The playoff tease. Before Halloween, the league hits TV networks. The BCS may not survive this season because polls require trust, and trust is gone. The rumors spread, an expanded playoff, auto bids, no buys, no safety nets. This season suddenly has an endpoint, and now every game matters twice, once in the standings and once in the argument. Leinart becomes the symbol. And this is where Matt Leinart stops being trivia and becomes the story. Arizona isn't sneaking by teams, they're calm. Leinart looks like he's played these games before because he has. Every week the question grows louder. What does it mean if this team wins? Because if Arizona's legitimate, then the sport's old logic is not. And then the sport fractures. By November, there's absolutely zero consensus. Auburn is the SEC's last pillar. Kansas State looks terrifying but very unfamiliar. UCLA feels inevitable but untrusted. Florida State feels powerful but joyless. Every ranking show ends the same way, arguing resumes, commercial break, no resolution. And the audience can feel it. The sport doesn't know what it even believes anymore. The playoff becomes official. 2 weeks before the conference title games, it becomes official. 8-team playoff, 5 conference champs, 3 at-larges, no buys. And here's the key part. No exemptions for brand, which means the sport has finally admitted something out loud. We don't know who's real, so we're going to find out. Selection night. Selection night is very tense. Auburn gets the top seed. Kansas State is in. UCLA is in. Florida State is in. Then the at-larges. Oklahoma, West Virginia, Arizona, and when Arizona's logo flashes on the screen, there's an audible pause. Not outrage, silence, because everyone knows what this represents. The playoff. The playoff doesn't reward stability, it punishes it. Arizona beats Kansas State cleanly. UCLA handles Oklahoma. Auburn survives but doesn't look great doing so. Every postgame sounds the same. We didn't expect this, and now the sport is trapped because the thing it tried to control is working. Semifinals. Arizona faces Auburn. The broadcast frames it like a novelty. By halftime, nobody's laughing. Leinart is calm. Arizona is poised. Auburn is tight. Arizona wins. On the other side, UCLA beats Florida State. Pete Carroll doesn't celebrate wildly. He nods, like this was always the plan. The title game. The national title game is UCLA versus Arizona. Not because chaos happened, because displacement did. One program trying to become what USC was. One quarterback proving that context was never his ceiling. And when the game ends, Arizona wins. Matt Leinart holds the trophy. And for the first time all season, the sport stops arguing because there's nothing left to argue about. The SEC spins this as a down year. The Big Ten says it was parity. The Big 12 says it was unlucky. But privately, everyone knows this season proved something dangerous. College football was never stable. It was just protected. Remove the protectors, and suddenly anyone can become real. If you want to see what happens in the next alternate universe, who's next to replace old absorbers, and whether the next new order survives, like, comment, and subscribe. Because once a sport learns it can crown a champion without kings, it never unlearns that lesson.